Welcome back to the boardroom. This is the chatty chairwoman. Thank you so much for stopping by, to taking a break from the hustle and bustle of daily life just to chat it up and talk about what's happening in reality TV. Now, I must admit, I called it wrong, but I don't mind being wrong in this instance. Oh no, I thought I figured them out. But obviously I didn't. So many surprises here on decision day for Married at First Sight. So they started off with the easy couple, Jasmina and Michael, who I thought would certainly not stick together after decision day. My apologies, that's my alarm reminding me to post another video. So I am so glad that they opted to keep trying. How wonderful is that? So it definitely does remind me of the couple from New Orleans who was not attracted to the gentleman, and then they had time off camera and they're still married today, because I follow them on social media. I'm sorry, I cannot remember their name. So it kind of reminds me of that, where he wasn't necessarily her type and she saw him on social media prior to, and she didn't like what she saw. I cannot think of her name. And Pastor Cal told her, "You're making a mistake. This is a good guy." If you remember what his name is, put it in the comments section. So once again, thank you for stopping by to the chatty chairwoman. Loved decision day. It was great. It was worth the wait. Certainly worth the wait. So as we know, Michael decided he wanted to keep trying, but first it went to Jasmina, and she talked about that they've made so much progress, and she was looking at him. Now let me be honest, when she walked out there and I saw her dress, I said, oh, she's out of there. She's not going to stay married, because usually, you know, the outfit for a woman has style, it's high end, it says look at me. But that's not how she presented on decision day. So, and I really look for their style on decision day, their personality and all the glamour, right? I guess that's my expectation. But she had on a simple dress, and I was like, okay, she's ready to get out of there. She wants this thing to be over. And surprisingly, Jasmina, who spoke first, said she wanted to do it and keep trying. Awesome. And then Michael says what? He also wants to keep trying and see how it works after the cameras. Oh my gosh, the experts were so amazed, and so was I. It was a wonderful thing, so exciting. But when they showed them moving, and to hear they weren't going to move in together, I said, red flag. I don't know what that is all about. Maybe because he has roommates and she has roommates, that would make sense. But I certainly hope when we get to the reunion that they're still together. I certainly hope so. But for me, that was a red flag. And I'm assuming and I'm hoping it's because they both still have roommates, that they are not going to move in together right away. Maybe their leases are still going on. So for me, that is one acceptable reason. Otherwise, it's a big red flag. So we will see how this pans out. Then they go to Elijah, Juan, and Katina. I know I predicted that Elijah Juan would say, I'm out of here. I wanted someone more experienced, more established, and simply, she can't even cook. She's not even ready for marriage, even though she's a wonderful being, and I have deep feelings for her. I don't want to watch her grow up. I don't want to wait for her to finish school for us to travel. And then, so Katina went first, as we all know, and Katina said that what? She wanted to stay married. So clearly behind the scenes, he is more kind, more gentle, more thoughtful, more loving than we have been able to see. And the edits showed him as aggressive and mean and bossy. And maybe that's hopefully 5% of his personality, but 95% of his personality is charming and thoughtful. And maybe behind the scenes, he apologizes for who he is in front of the camera, because he did say he changed a lot. I mean, he cut the mohawk. To me, that's huge, right? And it was a necessary move. And even the experts said he looked good. So he said this whole process changed him. Oh my gosh. So Katina said she wants to stay together. And I called that one correctly. We called that one correctly. And he said what? He also wanted to stay together, because I love what he says. Now, I must admit, throughout this process, Elijah Juan has had some really major nuggets. And he said, even though he asked the experts for someone more established, he'd rather have someone who's not established but makes every effort. And he saw her effort, and for that, he knows she's the one. Oh my God, that was so dynamic. Elijah Juan won me back, so I hope on decision day it stays that way. And he also mentioned that it was his father's birthday, and she whispers to him, why didn't you tell me it was your father's birthday? And I guess he had so many emotions going on, he just wanted to make sure he stayed to himself so he can continue his thought process. You can really tell he was vested in this process. He wanted to remain making sure that they were not intimate during this process so that he could really understand her and get to know her, which I thought was pretty good. And he explained that to Dr. Cal, as well as the other experts, Dr. Pepper and Dr. Viviana. He explained that to them, that this was a different move. He wanted to be serious and be all into the process. So I hope he's a really good guy off camera, and that the editing made him look more like a jerk. So let's cross our fingers for that, because I think Katina deserves that, and I think they would make a wonderful couple. They're going to travel, and it's great to see. And who cares if she can't cook? You can hire somebody to cook for you nowadays. It doesn't matter. That's not a big deal. And if he loves her, he'll wash the dishes. I mean, I think that's really petty, and he has to get rid of his traditional mindset, because that's not the woman of today anymore. That's not the woman of today. So I think he has to be more flexible. And remember, now she's stepping up her game, because maybe she's used to being single, just going out to grab a bite to eat, coming home, chilling, not have to worrying about cleaning up and taking care of a household. But now she has shown her effort as well. So for them, they're looking to grow together, which is fantastic. So what if I was wrong? I don't care. Let's see. We want what? We all want love, and we want people to win. So this is fantastic. And moving right along, so we go to Noy and Steve. Oh my God. So Noy comes out, she's stylish. I say, okay, she wants him to know that she looks good before she tells him, I'm out of here, right? I don't want to do this. I'm out of here. And honestly, I thought she was going to say no, right? So when they get together, they both agree to stay together, right? I could not believe it. She said for the first time she could be her authentic self. She didn't feel like she had to hesitate in sharing. He made her feel complete. Oh, the words were wonderful. And he agreed that she was the one for him, and they want to try it. Maybe they'll have 2 or 3 children. It was great, blah, 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 blah. You know how I feel about them as a couple. I think they're very boring. But so they decided to stay together. It was wonderful to see. She was so joyous and she was so happy. I think that's the first time she really showed some emotion, because mostly she has that stern look on her face, that worried look on her face. And I love the way that even though it was decision day, the experts really let them talk about some of the problems that are pending between the relationships, and gave them some insight in how they still are not perfect as a couple, but what they are struggling with is not as big as the fact that they care for each other and they can make it work. So they decided to stay together, which was great. And then we get to Mark and Lindsay. And I always say Lindsay is the one for Mark. She's going to pull him out of his shell, make him fly, make him experience life. I could see Lindsay taking him to the Grand Canyon, to the Arches, taking him all the way across the world to some excursion, some adventure that he never thought he would do. Awesome. And even in her comments, she said she sees them traveling with the baby on their back. He needs that. His life is going to be so fulfilled because of Lindsay. And I think we all should have a partner who brings us to a place we did not expect, right? Excuse me. If you're with someone and it's sit around the house, it's pretty basic. They don't suggest things that you never thought about. then you need to be the one in the relation that suggests things that take you both out of your comfort zone, because that is what life is really all about. I think Lindsay is great for him. She has to work on that personality, and he has to learn to embrace who she is. She is just loud. She is just abrasive, and hopefully through this process, she has also grown. So she did share her complaint about him posting on social media, being so connected to social media, being so attached and needing to post on social media. And he said some things on social media that she didn't appreciate, because she said it would be there forever. So I can totally get that. And maybe because he's such a loner, social media is like his social network, but he said he uses it for networking. And I can understand that, because if he does, I think he's a gym membership director or regional person. If his whole business is about recruiting people and getting people to sign up for memberships, and he needs to know a lot of people, he has to post his life on social media. Totally understand that, but he should not have to post her, and it certainly shouldn't be negative or subliminal messages the way Noy was doing in terms of her relationship with Steve. So we think that's something that can be solved, right? That's manageable. That's no big deal. And he went on to say that she was the one. They decided to stay together. And once again, she showed up in a beautiful dress. So I thought, well, that was kind of odd, because you know what, I did say that I thought that she would say yes and he would say no, if I recall correctly, because she may be too much for him. But I think she is good for him. I think they are going to be a couple that goes the test of time. We shall certainly see. Surprised to see all of the couples say yes. I wonder, do they get to decision day and then they edit to kind of totally throw you off, right? To make the couple so fiery and so challenged that you would never think that they would stay together, or someone in that group is not going to stay together. So we were really fooled. We were really fooled in a good way. So I'm glad I was wrong. I'd rather be wrong and everybody win than to be right and everybody is a loser come decision day. So the experts did call it right. And you know what it boils down to? All of them as individuals were good people. So I think that's why it worked. When you look at Alyssa and Chris, Alyssa is not a good person. That's why it didn't work. Even with the Chris in season 12 from Atlanta, he was not a good person. So when you match up two good people who came into a process with an expectation, the likelihood of it working is high. We can see for all of the relationships where they were toxic or somebody was a jerk, it was simply because they were not good people. You don't come on the show and instantly become a bad person. You come into the process as a bad person. But if you come into the process as a genuine good person, no one is perfect, of course, but a genuine good person with some bad habits here or there, like posting on social media, or talking too loud, or not understanding that you don't throw your husband or wife under the bus like Juan did with Katina at the dinner party, you learn that. But if you come in as a genuinely good person, the probability of the relationship working is higher. So I took a step back and I said, you know what? All of these people were genuinely good people for the marriages that worked. They were all genuine. You can say to yourself, if you saw them on the street, you would think they were a good person. Or if you saw them in the grocery store, or if they were in your class at school or on the job, you would probably say to yourself, you know, these are really good people. Or Lindsay is very loud at work, but she means well, right? She means well. She's not malicious. She's just loud and obnoxious. And all of that can be adjusted. So I said in that regard, the experts really did call it correct. Alyssa was the ticking time bomb. And as we saw at the end, they had a reunion of all of the groups, of all of the couples, where they revealed whether or not they stayed together. And notice how happy everyone was when Jasmina and Michael announced that they were still together. All the couples were so excited that they decided to keep trying, right? And who knows them better than we do in terms of on the outside looking in, and knows them better than even the experts, the other couples. So they were so excited. So we called it right when we said, well, I did say that Jasmina was not going to stay. When we said we wanted them to stay together, even though Jasmina was really strict, I hope she loosens up a little bit. and really give Michael a fair shot. Because I think if she does, he will take care of her for life. Because his heart is full. And watching him grow through this process was such a joy. He needed this process, even if the marriage does not work. He needed this process. He needed to talk publicly about all his hurts and all the drama and how he is winning in life. So good for him. And then we see that all the couples revealed that they stayed together. Everybody was so happy and supportive. And then comes Alyssa and Chris. Now, I must admit, Alyssa showed up. That dress was gorgeous. That necklace was gorgeous. But that face was still the same, and that heart was still poison because it was all about her, right? Oh my God, that girl is in denial, and in the dictionary under narcissist is her picture. I think her and Chris from Atlanta in season 12 are about the same. They cannot see anyone else's perspective. I think they call it emotional intelligence, right? No emotional intelligence, no self-awareness, no awareness of others' feelings, no awareness of what you're saying and doing, how it impacts others. Total lost cause. And like someone said on the show, she will be in that situation for years to come until she finds a man that's willing to love a shallow woman, because that's exactly who she is. And then Chris goes on to mention that he is dating again. And I loved what Lindsay said about Chris. I guess this process showed Chris who he really is and that he does bring something to the table. So even though he did not get married, he still won, right? Because he found out who he was and how he's a nice guy and he has value and worth, and he didn't have to put up with the torture and disrespect that Alyssa brought to him, because she thought she was so good for him, too good for him. Anywho, love to see that they're all together. It was wonderful. Love the reunion, and I cannot wait to the reunion. It's going to be fire. I cannot wait to the reunion to see who's still together, and of course the fashions, who looks great, who really brought it to the reunion in terms of their look, who's color coordinated. I know when you get out of the boardroom, you're looking for all of the little details, all the fun, the fashion, the style, the look, all of the glamour. That's important too, even for the men who really brought it, right? Who care about how they look. I mean, they're on national TV, and a part of this should be branding yourself to what? To grow an audience. That's why, what's the couple from New Orleans, how they are all on YouTube and they're marketing themselves. That's what you're supposed to do. You don't just get on here and go silent. You figure out a way to continue to market yourself so that when you build your family, you have a stream of income from this whole process. Anyway, that's the business side of me talking. I get off on a tangent, but it's time for me to go back to work. I'm sure your break is over as well. Thank you, board members, for stopping by. The Boardroom Chatty Chairwoman here.